Hey, picture perfect people. I hope that everyone is having a great start to August and staying cool as we suffer through the last full month of a pretty brutal summer in the Richmond area. A question that we get asked a lot by people curious about fall aeration and seeding is, how often should I seed my lawn? Do I have to seed it every year? And that answer can vary between regions and climates and the practices and methods of what a community has gotten used to. So I'm going to answer that question for you specific to the Richmond, Virginia area, where we go through a rougher summer than a lot of other regions that grow fescue have to go through. Because for us, it's every year. Yeah, I know that's probably not the answer that you were hoping for. Every year can be more expensive, and it's a pretty aggressive service, and it affects a lot of what you're doing for your lawn at the beginning of the fall through the end of the year. So I know that not everybody wants to have to do it on a yearly basis. But there are two main reasons for why, and I'm gonna get into that in just a second. But first, I would really appreciate it, before we go any further, if you could go down and subscribe to our channel if for some reason you have not done so already. We're super excited to see how great of a response we've gotten to our channel, and our main focus always will be and always has been giving our clients resources to answer the questions that they're asking, like how often should I be seeding my lawn? So be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date, especially this month when it's going to be aeration and seeding mega mania in terms of our channel. That's going to be a huge focus. And on August 8th at 9 p.m. we're going to have another live show, this time featuring Brian and Kevin Ramsey of Brian Ramsey Design and the Design Network TV show Backyard Staycation. They are amazing landscapers, so go ahead and comment below any questions that you're going to have about landscaping that you would like to hear them answer. But for now, let's go ahead and break down the two big reasons that a Richmond area fescue lawn needs to be seeded every year. First and most importantly, your fescue lawn goes through a substantial amount of wear and tear season to season. There are multiple different types of stressors, but I'm going to list out 4, and these are just examples. Traffic. Whether it's kids running to the playset in the back, or pets doing their perimeter check, burning out and kicking up grass after they go potty, or even just your 4th of July barbecue or touch football. Anything that is happening on your lawn can dig up a little bit of that turf and pound it down and just stress it out and make it unhappy. Erosion, and especially on sloped parts of your lawn, whether it's along a ditch or just where it starts to go downhill in the front or in the back. Most lawns have a little bit of slope to them, and because water, whether it's from your irrigation or from the rain, is running down that slope, anytime it hits those upper areas, that gradually wears off. The steeper the slope, the more that erosion will be aggressive. It makes sense, it's a natural process, right? But that can expose roots over time, and especially if it is fragile young grass, that can wear it away and do damage that leads to bare areas. Heat. And Lord knows we've had plenty of that this year. Heat is a huge stressor for fescue. It hates it. It's a cool season grass, so that hot summer sun is not ideal. Further north, where they don't necessarily have to seed every single year, a lot of properties don't experience the same degree of weeks and weeks of mid-90s heat that we do in Richmond. Once fescue gets that stress, not only does it shut down and potentially go dormant, but if it gets really extreme, that grass can actually die from the heat. And disease. Brown patch and other fungal issues are something that we see a good amount in the Richmond area, again, more so than in areas that are a little bit more suited to fescue. And these can kill your grass as well. They don't just make it sick and make it look bad. If left untreated, fungus like brown patch can do significant damage to your turf. And these are just a few examples. I've seen lawns that have had turf loss due to leaving big clumps of grass after they went too long without mowing, or leaving piles of leaves over the winter and into the spring on the lawn, or chemical spills, power washing the house with bleach. We talked about in a video before what could be killing your lawn, and there's a whole laundry list. Those are my big examples, but is there anything that you've seen kill your grass that you think I should have mentioned? Comment below, let me know. I always want to hear from you guys in terms of that input. And my point here is that while your lawn might only face a couple of these issues, you know, out of a dozen possible threats, your lawn might only have a problem with fungus and an active dog. You know, that's the case in my yard. But at the end of the day, an average of at least 10% of your fescue turf dies off of natural, unavoidable causes on a year-to-year basis. And that can be a lot more if there are a bunch of things year to year that it's being exposed to. 10% might not sound like a lot, but that's what leads us to our second problem. Fescue doesn't fill in its own holes. Fescue is a bunch grass. That means that this clump of turf is as clumpy of turf as you're going to get. The grass you have is the grass you have. Warm season grasses like Bermuda and Zoysia are really tenacious in their ability to spread and crawl. And that's because they have a different growth pattern. They send out runners and tillers across the surface and underneath the soil that expand the area that a single plant can cover, and they create offshoots, and it's this branching network. Fescue doesn't do that. There are some varieties that have a creeping component to them. They're genetically modified to be able to do that, more similarly to how bluegrass has the ability to spread. But this isn't perfect, and those varieties are usually a lot more expensive or exclusive, and it's just not something that you should bank on. So we already have the issue that fescue is experiencing a lot of stress and a significant amount of population loss throughout the year, season to season. The contributor that makes that a problem, because it can't fill in its own holes if you have a bare spot here, whereas a warm season grass can close it in on its own, for a fescue lawn, that just stays the way that it is. The only thing that you can do to fill in bare areas like that and to recover population loss is to overseed. But are thin areas of the lawn really that big of a deal? Wouldn't it make more sense just to give it 2 or 3 years, let it get thin, and then seed it and fill it in? First of all, that doesn't look very good. Nobody wants to see their lawn decline for several years before they recover it and then rely on a heavy seeding in hopes that all that seed comes up and does what it needs to do. There are too many variables that make that risky. The other downside is that no matter how much weed control you put down, pre-emergent and post-emergent, life finds a way to break through in any of those thin or bare areas.
Life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, well, there it is.
An empty spot of soil is not something that nature likes. That's not natural, and it's not good for the total environment, including for your lawn. So, you have free real estate there. A weed is going to move in. So now not only does your lawn look thin and patchy, but all of a sudden you're introducing a great opportunity for aggressive weed development to come through.
Life finds a way.
A thick, uniform fescue lawn is just as important to weed control as the herbicides that you're treating it with. So that's my reasoning for why in Virginia and other transition zone states, you really need to overseed your fescue every year. It keeps things consistent. It allows for there to be multiple generations of turf coexisting, which means that you've got a really great diversity within your lawn. It keeps things thick. It keeps them healthy. It prevents weeds from breaking through. It's just what you need to do in this area. I wish that I could tell you, oh no, save the money, don't worry about it. But at the end of the day, we don't live in an area that is ideal for fescue. We don't live in an area that's ideal for really any kind of grass. So we have to make do with what we have. Now, there are always those properties, and we take care of a few ourselves, that somehow for whatever reason don't seem like they need to be seeded. They stay relatively thick and healthy without having seed put down more than once every few years. You're gonna have that. It's life. You always have those outliers. But at the end of the day, you can't bank on that. So it's ideal to just prepare for needing to seed your lawn every year. But tell me, is it something that you do every year? For anybody who has fescue, comment below and let me know what area you're in, how often you seed, and if you see it making a difference in terms of keeping your lawn thick, and if you see it starting to thin out this time of year. That's a big thing that we get calls from in terms of clients that have questions or concerns, is my lawn's starting to look really patchy, especially this year because it's been so hot. And a lot of the time, that's just something that you have to expect. It's like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It looks amazing in the spring because we filled in all those bare areas during the fall, and each year it progressively holds up more and more. So give me your feedback, let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, be sure to log in and check out our channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on August 8th, that's a Thursday, so that we can have you involved in asking questions of our landscapers that we work closely with. I really love that you guys are enjoying the channel. Comment below as well. Let me know if there's any ideas that you have for future content once we get past aeration and seeding. And I hope that you guys have a picture perfect day.